Welcome everybody to our first apple tasting of the season. We're going to have a look today at some early apples. Just let Julie sit down and then we'll make a start.
Hey folks, been a while.
Right, well, you've got to explain our scoring system. You know, basically we taste the apples and talk about them, but we do actually give a score out of 5.
Out of 5, and then we total it up and put it out of 10.
And what do the numbers mean?
Well, 5 is superb. 4 is pretty excellent, you know, just getting there. 3 is average, 2 is not that great, and 1 is no.
Yeah, I think that sums it up. So anything that's less than 3, there's something not very nice about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Have we ever given a 0? I think we did once, didn't we?
No, I don't think we have.
I thought we had.
Oh, had we?
I think we had one that was so bad that...
Well, maybe I did.
Yeah. I've never given a 0,
No,
but I think you did.
might have done, yeah.
Right, let's have a look.
That one where I spat it out.
Right, now the first apple we have here is a Leicestershire apple, and it's been known for a long time. It's called Sweetings, and it's very early, usually ripens about July the 20th, though this year it was a little bit later, and these are off different trees. So let's...
And just before we carry on, folks, this is the first video of the 2019-2020 apple tasting.
That's correct, yes.
And we have quite a few of them. Thank you, Nigel. I think last time we did apple tasting, I didn't have my teeth. I had the broken teeth.
Oh, you did, that's right, yes.
You remember they fell out when I was biting the apple?
Yes, I remember that. That's from another tree.
Same apple.
Oh, hold on, we've got a brown patch there.
Yeah.
Slightly overripe. Here we are. Now, Sweetings is a very, very mild flavour. Hardly any acid in it. It's not tart at all. I'm interested to see what you think to it.
There's a slight difference between the two.
Yeah, I think the first one's a little bit better.
Better, yes. I'm going to agree with you there.
And in fact, in the old books that we've got, it says that it's best to eat it just before it's fully ripe, whilst the pips are white.
There's very little flavour. But it's not bad. But it's not, you know.
Yeah, it's not a strong flavour. It's rather bland. But it tastes fresh and pleasant to me. I'm going to give that a 4. It reminds me of apple meringue, the flavour. It's very light and summery.
I'm going to give it a 3.
Okay.
It's
so unusual.
for me, yeah.
Yeah, it's not an ordinary apple taste. It's got a lot of background flavour that's sort of there or thereabouts, but it doesn't have much fruitiness.
No.
There's very, very little fruitiness.
Not much sugar content.
True. The sugar, although it's called Sweetings, the sugar isn't particularly high. Right, I'll put that back on there. So we've got 4 and a 3, so that gives us a 7. The next one is another early apple, Devonshire Quarrenden. I've got 2 apples here, one of which I picked about 5 minutes ago. This is fresh off the tree. And then I've got one I picked yesterday, which has rested for a while. Now that's more appley, a little bit sharper. What do you reckon to that,
Very
Julie?
much sharper. I'd say it's...
Let's see if it's right. Let's see if it's right.
It's sour.
Can you remember how you tell whether an apple's ripe? Is that ripe?
No.
How do you know?
the pips have got to be brown.
Yeah, that's right, and the pips are white, so that's not quite ready.
No.
Let's try the other
I
one.
could have told you.
Yeah. Oh, that looks better. Ah, that's more like it.
Yeah. So that shows you, folks, you could have some apple trees in your garden. If you're new to that garden and you go and pick some, oh, I don't like that, don't automatically chop the tree down, because it might just be timing what's wrong.
Yeah, look at the centre. If I think that's going to be in the right place. You can see the pips are quite dark, almost black. So that shows that the apple is ripe. Want a bit more?
Yeah, I'd like, because I still had a bit of taste left over from
Yeah.
the previous.
Well, I don't think that's the very best apple I've ever tasted, but it's pretty good. I'm going to give it a 4.
I'll give it a 3.5.
Yeah, okay. The next one is a very well-known apple called Discovery. You can see it's quite large. This was picked yesterday.
You get this in the supermarket?
No.
No.
Oh, sorry. This one didn't come from the supermarket.
No, but you can get them.
Yes, you can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it would be in the Cotswolds where they're grown as well.
Oh, they grow them all
I think
over.
I might, yeah, but I think we used to get them on the sides of the roads years ago.
Yeah, they're quite a good apple. They don't last very long, so when you pick one, you've got to eat it within a day or two, otherwise the flavour goes. A little bit sharp. Do you want a bit more? Yeah, probably could have waited a day before I picked that.
Yeah, I think maybe it's the
quite good, but it's not at its
got
best yet.
potential. Yeah, I think that's it. Too
Yeah.
early. I'm just going to give that a 3.
Yeah, I'm going to give it a 3.5. Number 4 is called Rosette, and it's closely related to Discovery. I believe the DNA fingerprint of the two apples is the same, so I think one is a sport of the other. But the difference between them, you can see that they're pretty much the same shape. The difference is that this one is usually red-fleshed, and it tastes a little bit milder. You can see the pink flesh in there. It's not as red as it is some years. What's that like?
Lovely.
Yeah, in my garden the rosette ripens a few days before the Discovery. Oh, that's good. That is really good.
It is.
Let's have a look at the other one as well. I picked 2 because they're usually at slightly different stages of ripeness. Yeah, have a bit of that. Just as good.
That's even better.
Yeah, it's a little bit less sharp,
Mm.
but very good. Well, I'm going to give that at least a 4. I'm tempted to give it 4.5.
I'm giving it 4.5.
Yeah, okay.
It's excellent. Very good. Skin's not tough.
And it looks good, doesn't it? It's a lovely looking fruit.
Lovely taste, yeah.
I had a very few apples on a tree that's known as Irish peach, and I let somebody else taste part of this yesterday. I've only got the one decent fruit, so I'm sorry about that, Julie, but I thought I would include it in the tasting.
Okay.
See what you think. Last year the Irish peach ripened on the 12th of July. Usually it's a nice flavour. Slightly yellowish flesh there, and you can see the pips are black. How's it compare with the last one?
Not as good.
Oh, it's a bit softer, isn't it?
Yeah.
No, it's not as good. It hasn't fully ripened this year.
I'll give that a 3.
Same here. I suspect that the first part of the summer, which was very dry, made this ripen slightly prematurely, and then when the rains came it was too late to actually get into the fruit and make it juicy, because it doesn't taste normal. It tastes a bit less good than it did last year.
Now I've noticed, Nigel, on my Lord Lambourne,
Yeah.
the apples are normally enormous on there,
Yeah.
and this year a lot of them are smaller. But we have got the quantity, there's more than 100 on there.
Yeah, I think.
Do you think it's the weather what's affecting?
Yes, I think.
Not enough rain, do you think?
Yeah, I think what's happened is it's the aftermath of the drought from last summer.
Right.
Because when I was digging on the various plots that I've got a month ago, the soil was quite dry if you went in 6 or 7 inches. It was absolutely dry 6 or 7 inches in. Now it isn't. We've had lots of rain, but this means that the fruit, when they were swelling up, hadn't got enough water to make them swell to the normal size. So a lot of the early apples are tending to be a bit small.
Right.
At least around here.
Yeah.
It may not be the same in other parts of the country.
No.
Right, we've got here an American apple called Hall's Pink. We've met this before. Wasps love this, unfortunately. I've got a really ripe one and one not quite as ripe. Yeah, it's the less ripe one you've got at the moment. That is amazingly fruity. Some years this is pink flesh, but this year you can see it isn't. What's your impression of that one, Julie?
Not great. That bit I'd have only given a 3.
Yeah, okay. Try this one. Now, there's something very odd about Hall's Pink. It's one of the apples you can actually peel without a knife. Look. You can peel the skin off. It's really thin. And with patience, you can take the whole of the skin off.
You've tried that, have you, Nigel?
Not a whole apple, no.
It's interesting the things what Nigel gets up to.
That's really good. Light texture, beautiful flavour. Bit more?
Yes, please.
What do you reckon?
Yeah, that's good.
And look here, we've got some pink flesh forming just under the skin. It probably won't show very well on the camera, but it's just under the skin. You've got a pink colour, and that usually occurs when it's got its best flavour.
I'll give that a 4. It's not,
Yeah, I'm going to give that a 4.5. I really like that one. It keeps for about a week off the tree. What's that? 4.5, 4. That's 8.5. The last one, I wasn't sure whether to include it or not. I suspect this isn't quite ripe, but this is Scarlet Surprise. It's from America. Oh, it's not going to be ready. It's one of our red fleshed apples, as you can see. When they're underripe, they're a bit sharp, but they're great for cooking and they're great for making jams and jellies.
You're preparing me.
Yeah, I'm preparing you. I know that you're not going to. You won't give it any more than a 2. I know that. But for jams and jellies and cooking, it's really good.
Oh.
Now, judged as an eating apple, I think I'm going to give that a 2.5. But as I say, the jams it makes are really pleasant. You don't want another one,
No.
do you?
Oh, no, it's horrible. Oh, one.
You honestly won't put me what? Put
Yeah,
one down.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I don't like that.
But as a cooking apple, as I said, it's good. We will revisit that in a fortnight when it's properly ripe. And I suspect with a red-fleshed apple, the pips will be not white, but probably pink. Let's have a look.
Mm.
Oh, they're bright red. They're the same.
Bright red, yeah.
They're the same colour as the flesh.
Yeah.
And when it's fully ripe, they go almost black.
Mm.
So what have we got? Best one looks like Rosette today, and Hall's Pink a close second. I'll put the scores up on our little board. There we go. I hope you can see that. Is it square? Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, that should be fine.
Right, anything else you want to ask, Julie?
It's interesting that, as in previous years, because we've been doing this, was this the 4th year?
I think it's the 4th year, yeah.
The apples, what we start off at the beginning of the season, are not so good as we finish off with.
Yeah, the best flavours do tend to come with the mid-season and the late apples, though occasionally you get really good ones. Discovery can score 5, for example, when it's on top form. But this year, perhaps it won't be quite as good as in some of the years.
As we've said, it really depends on when they've been picked and
the weather
yeah.
in the year previous and in the season that you're actually in.
Yes, so don't get rid of your tree. Think if you've moved into a new house and you've tried it and they're no good, just give it another year just to see.
That's good advice.
Or try to pick some at different times. Because it might very well be they're not ripe or they're overripe. Yeah,
a good sign when you're judging ripeness, as well as the colour of the pips. To start with, on a tree, all of the diseased apples fall off, and when the fallen apples are full of grubs, you can be fairly confident that the apples are not actually properly ripe. But when the fallen apples start to be fruit with no insects or grubs in them, then you can be fairly confident that they are fully ripe.
And why is that?
Well, because it's the plant's way of shedding fruit that are not going to be any good to it. If a fruit has grubs in it, it probably won't form viable seeds, so they'll drop.
Yeah, so the ones which have dropped without any markings, it's just because they're ripe. Yeah. It's not because of the grub infestation.
That's right.
Okay.
Right, I think that's all we've got to say today, but we'll be back fairly soon, perhaps a fortnight or so, with our next apple tasting.
Yeah, thank you folks.
Okay.